Hello again. My name is Dennis Karstens. I'm a retired lawyer and a novelist. I've written so far 20 novels that are available on Amazon. Most of them are legal mystery, courtroom drama type things. Very good, actually. I get average 4.5 out of 5 stars from readers, so they must be pretty good. Anyway, that's not why I'm here today. I'm here today to talk about a subject that's been in the news quite a bit lately. The governor of Minnesota, I'll be upfront about this. I live in Minnesota. I know of Tim Walz. Very, very clear. I did not vote for this guy. I would rather shoot myself in the foot than vote for this guy. He is a radical leftist, socialist, progressive whose attitude is very clearly the government should be running your life because they're a lot better at it than you are. And all of the money that you earn belongs to the government because the government has assisted you with your education and building roads and whatever the hell it is that he thinks government has done to help your life, which is what they're supposed to do. So anyway, your money all belongs to the government, and then it's up to the government to decide how much of the money you have worked for, you have earned, you will be allowed to keep. Now, I'm here to really talk about today is stolen valor. I'm a veteran. I'm a vet of the Air Force. When people ask me about it, that's all I say. I just say, yeah, I'm a vet. I was in the Air Force. I did not quite 4 years. I got out a little early. And I make it a point to not talk about when I served unless I'm asked. I served during the era of the Vietnam War. I'm very careful not to say I went to Vietnam or to even imply I went to Vietnam or let people infer that I went to Vietnam. That is incredibly disrespectful for people who did go to Vietnam. So I'm not going to claim that because I didn't go. Hell, I've known guys who actually went to Vietnam but never got into combat, and they don't claim they went to Vietnam. So now we get to Tubby Timmy, and he joined the Guard. Now, I knew guys in the Minnesota Guard. Well, mostly what they did was you do 6 months of active duty, and then once a month you get together with your pals and drink beer and hang out for a couple days. Now, maybe it's changed since then. That was back in the Vietnam days when everybody was trying to get into the Guard to avoid military service in Vietnam, which is what was going on. But maybe, like I said, maybe it's changed. Maybe they're much more serious about it. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, Tim Walz went in when it was much more serious, and he took it seriously and rose up through the ranks over 24 years to become a senior NCO, an E8. E9 is the highest. Now, he claims to have been an E9, a command sergeant major. He was an acting command sergeant major. He was not officially a command sergeant major. Sergeant major. Try saying that one fast. Anyway, he claims this, or he did before he got caught. And after he was there for 24 years, along comes the Iraq War. Now, here's the thing. He knew that his unit was going to get called up. His unit was a combat unit. This was not like a supply unit or a kitchen unit or something along those lines, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being in a supply unit or a kitchen unit or any of that kind of stuff. He was in a combat unit. They knew they were going to get called up, okay? He knew it. That's not like, the government would call, the Pentagon would call on a Tuesday and say, oh, by the way, you're being called up to be sent to Iraq. You're leaving tomorrow morning. No, they knew for months. So here was Tubby Timmy, who has been quoted as saying, as a senior NCO, it was my duty to go with my troops, to be there for my men. I'm paraphrasing here a little bit because they needed that experience and leadership that I had. Well, when push came to shove and he was going to get called up, Tubby Timmy ran like a scared little girl. Let's be honest here. He took off because he was scared. That's it, totally. He took the money. That's why he was in the Guard. He got paid for it, which is fine. But after 24 years of getting paid, you owe them something. And you're getting called up, and now it's time to man up and pay the bill. And he didn't have the balls to do it. He ran, which is bad enough by itself. But then he bragged and lied about his service in Iraq. He left people with the impression that he was in the war. He was talking about, of all things, gun control and telling people, we need to get rid of the guns I carried in war. He never carried a gun in war. He ran. Now, it's disgusting. This is not something you do. Vets do not appreciate this. They hate this kind of thing, except for I'm hearing from Democrat vets, and you know how they are. If you're a Democrat, you can do whatever you want. They will make excuses for you. Well, those of us who served full time and actually did our duty are not real crazy about Tampon Timmy lying about his service. I'll give you another perfect example, and this one really galls me. There's a senator from Connecticut. Guy's name is Richard Blumenthal. He's been in the Senate for quite a while. He was in the Marine back in during the Vietnam War. He was in the Marine Guard, the Marine Reserves, I think it was. Okay, he never left Maryland, from what I understand, which is fine. He went in. He must have known somebody. Here's the thing about getting in the reserves during Vietnam. You had to have pull. You had to know somebody, like a politician who could get you in, because everybody was trying to get in. I never even bothered to try to get in the reserves or the Guard because I knew I couldn't. I didn't know anyone. I wasn't important enough. Blumenthal sneaked into the Marine Reserves and then lied about it. When he ran for office, he lied about serving in Vietnam. Now, here's the thing. Lying about service in Vietnam for Vietnam vets, this son of a bitch might as well have gone down to Washington to the monument with all the names on it. 59,000 people who sacrificed their lives during Vietnam. He lied about his service in Vietnam. They might as well have stood there and pissed all over the names of these people, because that's what he did. And I'll tell you something, people of Connecticut should be thoroughly, totally, 100% ashamed of themselves for voting this guy into the United States Senate. It's despicable. Oh, he apologized for it. There's no apology for that. You get down on your knees and beg for forgiveness. You don't lie about something like that. I'm getting a little worked up here because Richard Blumenthal does this to me. And I'll tell you why. If I ever get close enough to Richard Blumenthal, I'm going to slap that son of a bitch so hard, his nose is going to fly off. I'm not going to punch him. He's not man enough for me to punch. He's a bitch, and I will slap him like the bitch that he is. And all I need is one vet on that jury, and I will walk out of that courtroom laughing my ass off, and I'll do it again. That's how disgusting he is. Anyway, enough. All right, that's enough ranting and raving for today. But that's how vets feel about this stuff, this stolen valor business. I'm not going to say I went to Vietnam. I'm not going to say I did things that I didn't do. What I did, actually, and I'm going to brag a little bit here, was probably a lot more important to the nation's security than if I'd have just been humping through the bush in Vietnam with an M16. I worked in the operations center of the National Security Agency. We were the first to know if war was going to ever strike out between the United States and Russia. We did that kind of stuff, and it's important. But I didn't go to combat. And one last thing I think people need to know is during World War II, the World War II guys, and I give them all the credit they deserve. That's fine. But here's the deal, folks. I would bet, and I don't have the numbers, but I would bet you that at least half of all the people that wore a uniform during World War II never left the States. But they did their duty. They went in, they did their duty, they helped win the war, and that's what it's all about. You serve your country, and they did. Anyway, thanks again. Have a great day. Vote. God, don't vote for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is now going to claim that she's not going to tax, that's the latest, she's not going to tax tips because Trump said this. She's lying. She's a Democrat, for God's sake. When was the last time Democrats took away a source of tax revenue? She gets into office, she's not going to do that. That's a lie. Think with your head, not with your heart. Have a great day. Thank you.